All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get this started with this IDD demonstration. Just want to take this time to say thank you for coming out and checking out this demonstration. There's no use of having a demonstration if nobody's going to be an audience, so we appreciate you guys coming out in this heat, making this walk, giving us the time it is to show you what we can do. My name is Lance Corporal Bakari. This is Lance Corporal Pearson. This is Goodwin. That's Books. This is our IDD demonstration. Now, what IDD stands for is an improvised explosive device detection dog. So we're IDD handlers. These dogs come from a long line of field trial and hunt dog backgrounds. And that's where they get procured from, through this program. We have trainers here with K2 shirts on, here to help out in this demonstration. They're from that program. They go all around the country and procure these dogs from private owners who want to donate their dog to this program and sell them to the program. And sometimes we even breed our own dogs. We have about 647 dogs in this program. About half of that's in Afghanistan right now. Goodwin here, he's 8 years old, 4 tours to Afghanistan, with over 15 confirmed finds of IEDs out in the country. Now, Book's over here got about the same track record. 7 years old, 4 tours as well, all to Afghanistan, and 15 confirmed finds. So these dogs are proven success stories that these dogs do save lives, and they mitigate the threat of IEDs that face our soldiers, sailors, Marines every day in combat environments. Now, these dogs, they go through a 70-day certification course at K2 before they even meet their handlers. And they just reinforce the obedience that they want to have inbred in these dogs. And they imprint them on these odors that they're going to detect. They're imprinted in over 13 different explosive odors. Anywhere from military-grade ammunition like C4, TNT, and det cord, down to the crude homemade explosives that you may find in Afghanistan, found from all the different fertilizers around. These dogs, they get imprinted on these odors, they do these training, they get the techniques down. And then after that, there's a 5-week handler course, which me and Lance Corporal Pearson attended. This course consists of obedience training with the dogs, and we learn from scratch, because most of the handlers that go through the course know nothing. Some handlers are repeat handlers that redeploy and are dog handlers as well. In our battalion, we had about 700 Marines. Only 26 were picked for this program. So they do tend to pick people who have a dog background or who has a tendency to like dogs. We're trained on obedience with the dogs, techniques, on first aid as well, anywhere down from a cut in the paw down to a sucking chest wound from a gunshot wound. So sometimes you may not be close to a veterinarian, as you may be in some remote locations, and you have to take care of your dog the best you can. So they try to train us as best as they can. We also do mounting and dismounting on helicopters to see how your dog reacts in the sky. Don't know how the dog's going to freak out on anything. No telling. It's a good time to familiarize yourself with these dogs and learn how your dog will act. There's no telling. Some dogs are hyper, some dogs are docile. You got to learn how to work with your dog, and that's how you effectively employ them against these threats. Dogs, we also do a little bit of lane training. Send these dogs over and do long marks. These dogs push out about 300 yards away. So these dogs can work out pretty far. And we use them because that field trial background, like I mentioned before, it gives the dogs the ability to be off leash, opposed to ATF, DEA, any other government organizations that work with on-leash dogs. Now these dogs, to effectively employ them, you have to employ them downwind. And for instruction purposes only, we would normally field them this way because the wind's blowing this way. But we're going to start from right here just for instruction purposes only. Now we're going to show you basic handling techniques. The dog is not simulating bringing back a bomb. We don't want you to think that. These orange items right over here, they call it bumpers. We use it as a training aid. The dog does not actually see these. He navigates looking for them, utilizing his nose and the scent receptors in his nose, the scent receptor glands. Put this in perspective. The average human has about 50,000 scent receptors in their nose. These dogs have, on average, about 300,000. So put that in perspective. One of the trainers broke this down to me in a very clever way. If you make a sandwich in the morning, you use wheat bread, ham, cheese, honey mustard, lettuce, onion. You put it in a plastic bag. You eat that sandwich. You smell that bag afterwards. What is your nose going to pick up on that scent? Onion. It's a dominating scent of the human nose. These dogs will differentiate between different scents. They may not know what honey mustard is, but they know it's a different scent than lettuce, or cheese, or ham. And that comes into play when you're in a combat environment, and the enemy understands that these are a big threat. So they try to mask the odors with feces, urine, any way that they can to try and stop what we do. But the dogs, they don't respond well to that. They can differentiate, detect that odor regardless of the distractions. Now what the handler is doing, he's casting him out in that direction. He will line him up. We have basic commands: sit here and heel. Sit means to sit. Here means to bring him to the right or bring him forward. Heel brings him to your left side or brings him to the left. He lines him up, puts a hand in front of his eyes to reinforce that that's where he wants to send the dog. Gives him the command of back. The dog will continue running until you blow that single sit whistle. The dog will do a remote sit at a distance. He will then cast him out in the direction you want him to go, either left, right, back left, all the way back. Doesn't matter. The dog will listen to you, whatever command you want to give him. Although they're highly trained, dogs will be dogs, and sometimes they'll stray. So we'll remote sit them and then recast them. Sometimes the handler sees the dog is going a little bit too far than he wants him to go. He'll give him a recall whistle, just 3 continuous whistles, and he'll bring the dog closer. Then you'll sit him again and recast him. Now to continue with the training that the dog goes through before he even gets into a combat environment. After that 5-week handler course, the dog and the handler then go back to their unit, and then they work with their unit and integrate how they're gonna use that dog and the techniques in their theater of operation and whatever mission that they are tasked out with. A lot of Marines don't really know what the dogs do. They don't really understand how much good they can do and how much safer that they can make the patrols. So it's a good time to showcase this to your Marines. You may go through any training like the Marine Corps has in 29 Palms, California, Enhanced Mojave Viper, which is as close as you can get to the combat environment without even being there. Dogs can get used to hot climates, and you can see how you react with the sand, because the dog may not sit in the sand. About 140 degrees in Afghanistan in the summertime. You get 180 degrees temperature on the ground, so the dog may not want to sit. So you need, the big thing on utilizing these dogs is when you get familiarized with them, you can understand how they pick up on a scent. Their ears will perk, their tail will go up, they'll put their head down. You can see when they're hunting and actually utilizing their nose. After that training, you then deploy and go to Camp Leatherneck, Afghanistan. There, it's a good acclimatization period for the dogs to get used to that climate and that hot environment. And also, you do some training with the current enemy tactics in that area of operation that your unit is going to be operating out of. We call that an AO, area of operation. It's about 3 weeks to acclimatize the dog, let him get used to how hot the environment's going to be and how you can see how he reacts. So as you can see, you really need to understand your dog and you need to have a great bond to effectively use this dog against all those threats out there. Shortly after that acclimatization period, send that dog out to the combat environment and it's game time. In the last 6 months alone, there's been over 100 confirmed fines with these dogs. That's 100 fines of any threat that could, someone could lose a leg, arm, any damage, ruin a vehicle. So it saves lives. It's a proven program that's going through and constantly creating success. We just got a call or an email the other day from one of the trainers got an email. And it was about a dog in Afghanistan. That dog's name is Rumor. Rumor got another confirmed fine about 2 days ago. So this program is constantly saving lives. I'm going to show you how good one works in these blinds. So ladies and gentlemen, that was just a demonstration on how the dog can handle at a distance. Although we have limited space right here, we can push him out as far as the dog can see us. As long as the dog can see us, we can still do commands. I'm sure you've seen the Megatron. They've had dogs that have a remote collar that has a walkie-talkie. Although I've never done that. If the dog can hear you, if they can hear you through the walkie-talkie, employ them even farther. So these dogs are an excellent thing for working out, keeping that distance between the potential threat. Now I'm going to show you how the dogs react to an odor. Now when the dog discovers an odor, he'll do what we call as a cover. He will lay down. The dog will source it, which means find the most strongest scent, the closest he can get to that IED as possible. The dogs are trained to be within 6 feet of that source of the odor. Now this handler is going to line the dog up, give him a dead good back. This is called a point-to-point. One of the techniques that we utilize. Search a specific object in the road. Let's say you're on a road, patrolling, and you see wires sticking out. You send the dog out there. The dog will therefore inspect it with his nose and covers. That is the correct response you want from the dog when he detects an explosive odor. Now Brooks here, he likes to do a victory lap. Been doing it all week. He's got that rock star mentality. Get a round of applause for Brooks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is called covering. That is when the dog detects an explosive odor. And they're trained to just sit there for however long they need to, because they may cover and you don't realize that they covered, and they may get up, they could get up quickly. So they're trained to just stay there for as long as possible, waiting patiently for his reward. Now we reward these dogs not on food, not on any toys, just one device, this Kong. You may use it as a toy and put peanut butter inside of it. We don't do any of that. We just pay the dog strictly off this. And that's because on a patrol, you're very limited to carry what you need. You don't want to carry anything more. Ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. So this mitigates that and just stops us from carrying anything too heavy. I'm going to go ahead and pay him. Now these dogs, they're trained to search more than just one specific object in the road. There are a variety of different techniques. Like I mentioned, it was a point-to-point. You can also do an orbit, which is what we call a free search of just a road. You're walking down, you don't know what's there. You just send the dog out and he does a free search. Kind of push him out however you want him with the cast, like we showed you earlier. And they're also trained to do vehicle searches. Interior buildings, exterior buildings. They can search whatever we want them to search. Only limitation is we don't have them search humans. The Marine Corps, they have a variety of different dogs for different uses. They have the military police, attack dogs, they have drug dogs, they have search dogs. Police have tracking dogs. They're trained on different techniques. If these dogs were trained on it, they couldn't do it, but they're not trained on searching humans. Now, one of the training games that we do with these dogs, so they can get used to searching the entire area around the vehicle, we'll plant that odor. And that training aid that we used earlier to show you how the dog covers, it is ammonium nitrate, one of the things that they're imprinted on. They found it in the fertilizer overseas, it's a crude homemade explosive. But this is not an explosive, just going to tell everybody that right now. It's not an explosive. It is just an odor training aid that we use. All right, so we're going to set this dog up. We're going to plant the odor on a couple different points on the vehicle, and you can see how the dog gets used to searching the entire vehicle. Because if you put that odor on one spot of the vehicle, the dog wants to associate that with his reward. He'll just run to that same spot. It's like, why would I work hard if I'm just going to get the reward in that same spot? Why would I search anywhere else? It doesn't make any sense to me. That's how the dogs think. So you got to get their minds to think that you got to search the entire perimeter of the vehicle. We're going to volunteer right here that's going to pay Brooks when he covers. Again, he's used that same command, dead good back, to line him up. Dead bird. It's a hunt dog command to line the dog up to where you want him to go. When you say good, it reassures him that that's where you want him to go. Put your hand out in front of him, back, send him back. As you can see, they hunt high, they hunt low, they're looking for all the different odors. These dogs are persistent, as you can see. They got a high drive to sniff out what their handler wants them to find. They work so hard for you. They just work just as hard as any other Marine. I will take another volunteer that wants to pay Goodwin when he covers. Can we get a volunteer? You're right there in the black tank top. Come on over. All right, Brianna's going to pay Goodwin when he covers. All right, go over to these instructions over here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, that is a cover. That is the correct response you want from the dog detection explosive odor. A round of applause for Brianna. The great volunteer. A frequent question asked is, when these dogs retire, where do they go? What do they do? Now, a good thing about this program is that when the dogs retire, when they're done with their time of service, they retire to their first handler. They get the first option of taking these dogs back. After that, if that handler cannot take that dog for whatever reason, if they don't put the paperwork in, it goes to the next handler, succession. So, it gives a good chance for the dog to go back to a loving home of somebody who's already created that bond. At this time, I'm going to bring the dogs around so everybody can get a chance to pet them and check them out. Answer some questions if you'd like. Have the instructors walk around. They may answer some loose questions. But I'll start taking questions from the crowd if you have any questions.